Hi and welcome to S.Chablis for this new Q&A. Well, it's not the usual setting. It's not going to be the usual Q&A because this week it's not about a question which I had selected, but because during the night I received an email from someone called Patrick about sales and sales at S.Chablis, or rather the lack of sales at S.Chablis. I thought you might be interested in this subject, so sales prices and the views of a wine shop. Let's talk about that at the boutique when I'm there. See you. Hi and welcome to S.Chablis, this time the boutique. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. Let's go straight to the point and to this week's another question, a comment from Patrick in Versailles, France. Not doing sales, exclamation mark. I don't know if you noticed, but we're right in the middle of a sales period. And as you're not doing any sales, I didn't buy anything this weekend. You shouldn't be complaining, just like so many shop owners, that supermarkets are better. Fair enough, Patrick, and thank you for taking the time to write down this comment. I don't really complain about my job. I think the one day I will start complaining, I will just quit. That's easier, that's the way I am. But then again, why isn't Chablis doing sales? Well, sales are basically three things. One of those things is making sure you get rid of stock. Because you bought too much, because you're going to get into a new style of clothing, because you're going to get a new version of things. Think about it. Wine. The longer I'm going to keep the bottles, the more value they might get. So even if I'm stuck with the last bottle of a series on a vintage, and I sometimes have those bottles, I've got a special shelf for those bottles, they're not losing any value. Indeed, it's quite the opposite. I could basically increase the prices with time, which I don't. And if you come to the shop and if you look closely, and I'm pretty sure you, well, I'm not pretty sure, I'm sure you came to the shop and didn't really want my help, because I ask everyone if they need help. I would have told you that. And maybe you noticed that on some wines, I've got several different vintages, and each and every one of them have the same price. Just because I make sure when I negotiate with the wine growers, I have prices that are close enough between the current vintage and the old vintage, so I can make sure all the prices are at the same spot for you. Then the second thing behind sales is to make sure people come to your shop. And indeed, in January and February in Chablis, it's quite slow. Thing is, I don't think I could make people come to the shop more if my prices were lower, or if I was to use big fluorescent signs outside with sales in big. Just because in Chablis, in January and February, not many people come, not to the shop, just to the town. So I don't really see the point of doing that. And then the third thing, and it's probably the one you're thinking of, is to make sure customers have a lower price. Or actually make sure people think they have a lower price. Because indeed, when I see other places, and you've talked about supermarkets and chains and things like that are the same, you're going to see minus 20%, minus 30%, minus 40%, 50% even, and this year I even saw a minus 80%. Now, as a consumer, because I'm also a consumer, I can't help but wondering, how does it work? Because when you do sales, you're not supposed to lose money. You're not supposed to go lower than the price you bought the stuff. So as a consumer, I can't help but thinking that, wow, that's a wonderful business. They can actually lower their prices by 80% and still make money. Now, either I'm not very clever, who knows, stop laughing, or I'm dead honest. And what I do is make sure all my customers get the lowest price possible all the time during the year. So obviously I could add €1 here, €2 there, maybe €10 on some bottles, and then twice a year say, oh, look how good I am. I'm gonna make sure you get a lower price because that's how good I am. But I don't. I make sure you get the lowest possible price all the time. I don't use shiny stickers, I don't use fluorescent signs, but I make sure, just like a lot of wine shop owners, that you get the good deal all the time. Patrick, I hope that answers your question or comment. If you feel like coming back to S.Chablis, just come say, I'm Patrick on Versailles, and I will remember you so we can talk a bit more, and maybe this time you will buy a couple bottles. For everyone else, if you've got other questions, well, you know how to reach me via social media with YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I'm actually wondering about Snapchat. I've got to find a way of using that thing. I hope you're going to have a wonderful week. Keep on tasting. Bye-bye.